first question is, just tell me about you.
Okay. Do you want me to say my name and everything too, or?
Sure.
Okay. My name is Angie Holland, and I am 46. I'm a single mom of 4 kids. My oldest 2 attend the U as well. First generation college student in my family. I'm a psychology major and a sociology and nutrition minor. I really want to work with special ed kids, especially autistic, and so that's where the nutrition comes in. It's huge for them. When I got divorced, I went and worked as a special ed aide in my children's school district and just loved it. But you make $700 a month full time with no benefits, so can't really afford to, do that and support my children. So I found out about the U and very intimidated to begin with because I'd never been to school. I'd never been thought of that I would go to school. I put my ex-husband through BYU, and the only thing I regret from that marriage is that I never thought about going. I didn't have my child until I was married almost 6 years, and so not going to school at that time was really stupid, and that's the only thing I regret. But he, never wanted me to go to school either. So later on, when the kids were a little bit older, I tried and couldn't. So when I got divorced, I'm like, okay, now it's my turn. And I've loved it. The U has been an incredible experience from day one. From me applying, calling them. They sent me all the paperwork. They were just absolutely wonderful. And that's pretty much been my only experience here. Has been really positive for me and my kids.
That's awesome. So what role does education play in your life?
It was huge. I mean, that's all we do in my house. So I have a 20-year-old here, a 17-year-old here, me, and then I have a 15-year-old in high school and a 9-year-old in 4th grade. And they know this is expected of them. They are going to college. That's just a given for me. And so, yeah, I mean, homework is hugely important. And I've taken 2 classes with my kids, and I'm the one who studies, and my son gets a better grade. It kind of pisses me off, yeah, it just is so important for my family, and my kids see that. And so they have an interest and appreciation, I think, for it that they didn't before I started going to school.
Yeah. So tell me about why you decided to attend college. You kind of touched on that.
I'd always wanted to. It was a dream when I was a teenager, but I grew up, in the 80s, and it was get married, and that was the goal. And so I got married on my 20th birthday and put him through school, but it was just never thought of that I would. And I think with that mindset, I know that my ex didn't want my girls to go to school either. It was an abusive situation, and so it was definitely keep you home, and, as long as you can teach your kids their ABCs and stuff, the higher education was not wanted. So, yeah, it was my chance to finally get to do something I'd always dreamed of, and it's so much better than I ever thought. So being 46 and being in school is a blessing, and I'm so grateful for it, and so I think I appreciate it more than if I were 18 and coming in on mom and dad's dime, So yeah, I have a whole different outlook, I think.
Yeah. So what are your goals, educational, personal, and career?
Okay, when I started, I was pre-occupational therapy, which is a master's program. So going in, I'd never thought of just my BS. I'd always intended on going through my master's. So anatomy kind of killed me. I couldn't devote the time, 40 hours of studying for one class, being a single mom. So after withdrawing from it twice, realizing, okay, I need to switch gears, I went to my minor, which was psychology, and I figured I can still work with special ed and autistic kids, but it'll just be from a different dynamic than as an occupational therapist. So I've still never looked at only my bachelor's. However, I'm almost a senior, and so I went and met with my advisor last week and discovered that a sociology minor is absolutely perfect for what I want to do. I've taken a lot of diversity classes, and so I'm thrilled about doing that. The nutrition minor I've always had, and so I will walk spring of 13 with my BS, and then hopefully go right into my social work master's. And I want to be an LCSW, licensed clinical social worker, and it's a broad enough degree that I could work in a community service. I could work in a school. I could work in a hospital. You know, I could have private practice. And so I really like the variety that I can do with this. And so if all goes well, a month before I turn 50, I will get my master's. And then I want to, my dream would be to go to St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands and like intern there for like a year or two with their hospital and school and everything. So that's my dream.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what kind of things do you expect to learn here at the U? I know you're close to finishing up, but
I'm pretty much, I have 2 more psych classes and then I'm done with that. And yet I have another year to go for credits. And so pretty much everything else I'm doing is going to be diversity and ethnic and nutrition. And so a lot more just, I've looked at, because I've been a psych major and that's kind of their viewpoint of the individual. And now going to the sociology part, looking at it in a broader scope, it really is very interesting how they're allies, but yet they look at, you know, things differently. And so I'm really excited about, you know, switching gears a little bit, seeing things from a different angle, which I know will directly help my social work degree.
So do you think having a college education will change your life?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Just for definitely being able to make an income to just support myself. I'll never get rich being a social worker, but just being able to support myself and my children and knowing that, yeah, I've done this when nobody else in my family has, you know, and so I'm really very excited about that. And at first, when I first told my dad that I was going to go to college, he was very angry. Like, how can you afford to do this? I'm like, how can I afford not to? And he has changed his gears so incredibly much and is so completely supportive of it now. And I think it was jealousy to begin with, you know, because he didn't do it. He had a full ride scholarship to Cal Berkeley and had me and blamed me for not finishing. And I bought that until I saw all these people with kids, like especially BYU, these guys with 5 kids going to school going, you know what, no, you could have done it. And so I am doing it, you know, and yeah, it's not easy, but it's so rewarding.
So has anyone else in your family attended college?
My 2 children.
Yeah.
So yes, so my son, right when he graduated, he started right away that fall to the U with me. And then my daughter, my second child, we got in a car accident a couple years ago and she was hurt and then developed some anxiety. And since I commute so far away, I'm an hour away from home, and having me be that far away, it made it where she had to quit high school, get her GED, and then we arranged it, you know, she got her ACTs, and she almost made it on her own, but she was just a hair below what they wanted. So the Women's Resource Center, who I have some scholarships with, were willing to sponsor her. So she started in spring of 11, so she's in her 2nd semester here, and she's doing fabulously, and she's 17. So she would normally be a high school senior, and so getting her here was incredible. And then her confidence level for being here and knowing, okay, I really can do this, you know, has been just phenomenal. So having the 3 of us here, my 15-year-old, she wants to be a psychologist, and she is very into school. She's very bright, and so she knows it's just an absolute given that she will go to college. And then my little one's only 9, and so he sees all this, and he just knows, you know, this is important, and this is something that he will do. He'll just grow up as a given.
So who has been the biggest influence in your life?
You know, I really think it's been myself. I haven't had anyone to follow. I've had to be the leader. So I guess the biggest influence is my kids, to be sure that I'm the example that they need, because I never had one.
So how do you feel about college as you begin this process?
I was really scared. I was so intimidated, and I was 42, and I was maybe 43, and I was terrified. I remember that first class. I remember going in and going, oh, what am I doing here? And then after getting, you know, straight A's that first semester, that second semester I walked on campus and I'm like, I do belong here. And then with some associations I've made and being able to help other people, just with knowledge, like I know I helped a single mom who didn't know about scholarships, and she got it just because I told her. I told her, she went down that way and got it, but she wouldn't have known without me. And so seeing the relationships that I've made with other people and going, I do make a difference here. It is important that I'm here. And so yeah, it's huge, huge life changing.